You go here. Gun, you go on this side. Here we got KK and Vlad. That's right. They're not wearing a Schneider jersey.
Okay, go ahead and raise your hands.
They do, yeah. I don't blame them.
John, many times it's been said that where Vlad goes, this team goes. How big is that homer to sort of get that offense going?
Yeah, huge there, adding on there before the 8th inning. It was kind of tough sledding against Snell. Had our chances for sure, but I think giving Swanee and Jordy a little bit of breathing room was huge.
And then just on Bassett, it seems like there's a little bit of justice here, right? Yesterday, not a lot of run support. What can you say about the pitching staff and the offense coming through for them?
Yeah, pitching staff today, awesome. Chris, dealing again at home. Tough spot there in the 6th, and, went out there just to check on him, knowing they were probably going to pinch hit Kim if you bring in Timmy. Felt good still to get through Sanchez there, but he's been awesome. He's been nails, especially at home. Another great outing from him.
John, can you take us into that 6th inning mound conference with Bassett?
Yeah, just kind of seeing how he was feeling. Pitch count was good. It just comes down to kind of strategy. You're kind of trying to figure out what Bob's going to do in that situation and just trying to capture matchups. So he said he was feeling good, went right through his sequence of pitches he was going with the Cronenworth, and executed it. I think a guy like that you trust when he's got a good plan.
And he's typically a competitive guy. I mean, what happens in that situation from his point of view?
Yeah, he's always going to want to stay in, I think. It's, you got to kind of read what you think is going to happen, what may happen, and at that point in the game, is it going to be the biggest part of the game or not? So, yeah, he's going to want to stay in regardless, but understands what, the options that we do have in the bullpen too.
Was there any amount of runs that you scored in the 9th where Jordan was not going to come in, or was this kind of about him getting some work after?
Yeah, Jordy was pitching today. We were debating on putting him in the 8th inning instead of the 9th just because they were at the top of the order, but trusted Swanee there too, especially against Soto with kind of reverse splits with the splitter. But yeah, Jordy was pitching no matter what today.
And just what did you see from Snell? Obviously, a lot of walks, but then it seemed like he was kind of making the big pitches when he needed to.
Yeah, kind of what he has been his whole career. It's a lot of strikeouts. I love the fact that we drove his pitch count up. 7 walks and 5 hits, and it's tough to score on him. He can. The strikeout is a big part of his game, and that kind of came into play today with guys on base. But the fact that we made him work, I thought, was really good.
John, Vlad's starting to flash the power again. What do you think it's going to take for him to show some consistency in that department, or do you see signs of that happening already?
Yeah, I see signs of that. I think, today the walks were encouraging too, and understanding, especially a guy like Snell, he's probably going to give you one pitch in the zone and then try to get you to chase. So the walks were encouraging. When Vladdy swings at pitches he can do damage on, that's kind of what he does. So today I think hopefully can kind of keep him moving in that same direction. Really impressive at bat there, going opposite field against a guy with a pretty good sinker with good velo. So it comes down to pitch selection for Vlad because he hits the ball so hard.
When there's so much concern about where Manoah is or what he is, and you see what Bassett did today and what Berrios has been doing for a pretty long stretch now, how much do you like this rotation?
Love this rotation. I mean, they've been as consistent as any in the league, really, I think. And like the fact that we have some other people that are getting ready to come hopefully help us. But those 5 guys, I take them against anybody. They've stepped up in tough times and pitching on regular rest and pitch. It's you can't really say enough about how consistent they have been.
Kind of like the story of most baseball seasons. What you start out with thinking you have or you're planning for, and what it turns out to be isn't always the same thing. And it's sort of, if you had gone 1 to 5 on what your rotation was going to be in March, and now, what it is now, it's a different numbers sequence.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always try to play. You want to be comfortable with the top 5, and you always try to plan. Have a little bit of a safety net, if you will. And the fact that these guys have answered the bell consistently just speaks volumes to their professionalism and how they take care of themselves in between. So hopefully they can kind of keep that rolling. I know we got some off days coming up before a tough 17-17 stretch, but it's pretty unique that we've gotten as consistent performance as we have from these guys.
Hey, John. Obviously, we've been talking about Vladdy's home run, but what did you think of his defense today as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the ability to be really good, obviously. He's a Gold Glove winner. Great catch there and flip to Timmy, who I didn't think knew it was a force out there at first, but we'll take it. Just being consistent. Vladdy's got, he's got such a unique skill set with his arm strength, with his hands, and kind of how good he is around the bag. And he can make plays like that, too.
Earlier this week, you were talking about just basically being patient with Kirk and his power would return. We saw a bit of that today. Is that a good sign of his progress at the plate?
Great sign. I think that coupled with the walk, a couple other knocks and doing damage on a hanging breaking ball. It's a credit to him for continuing to grind and continuing to work. I know we spoke a couple days ago about the work he has been doing kind of behind the scenes, but man, if you get Kirky back to being that kind of dangerous threat on base damage, it's going to be huge for our lineup.
Couple of hits for Luplo today. Is he here to play against lefties?
Yeah, I mean, we like him against lefties. His numbers have been good historically in his career versus lefties. We joked about him being 2 for 3 with a homer off Snell and gets us on the board with an RBI single, but really good approach. He's patient. He can do some damage against lefties. Left him in there that at bat, against the righty kind of early in the game, but came back around against Cosgrove and got another knock. So kind of what we expected from him today.
Was there the thought in the ninth to have him be the defender that comes out, or you're not as comfortable with Witt in right?
Yeah, kind of like keeping Witten left more so than right, and he's more than capable of playing that spot fairly well. So with George DHing, kind of just leave, especially when it got to 4, I think leaving George, kind of off his feet a little bit for a day, and then getting Varsh in there made a lot of sense.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you guys. See you back here.